Hello everybody, my name is Inder and hope you're doing good. In our previous videos, we have seen some MIDI maps on Arturia Minilab Mark II and Logic Pro X. Now, you remember that we did scene trigger MIDI map, where when we hit the scene, it plays and the pad scroll MIDI map. But in this and the previous MIDI map, we utilize the pads of the keyboard and we never get to trigger notes from them. So I came up with a new MIDI map in which we scroll through our tracks like this from knob 1 and knob 2. Which is more easier, and also you get all the pads tuned with your instrument whichever is loaded. Let me show that to you. Suppose you're on Analog Lab 4 and just like the normal one, from the keyboard you can play and even pads. So let's not sacrifice the pads and do a new MIDI mapping called knob scroll. This is our knob scroll MIDI map chart, which is I am making this track on track scrolling, and if I press shift and press this knob, all cells will stop, and if I use this knob, then we'll scroll through scenes and cells. If I click this, I will play or stop or record into cells, and if I press shift and click this, I will play the entire scene from a particular cell which is selected. And the last two, these ones I will keep for track pans and track volumes. So first of all, what you need is Arturia's MIDI control center. If you don't have it, just go to their website arturia.com, go to support, then go to downloads and manuals, and when downloads and manuals page loads, on the left side you will see all the products by Arturia which have their software or firmwares. So they're alphabetically ordered, and here you want to go to MIDI control center. Depending on your system, I'm on Mac, and we'll download this package and install it and then launch it. Once we launch it, make sure that in the device list you have Minilab Mark II selected. If you have other Arturia instruments, they'll also show as connected, but like I have BeatStep Pro connected, but I don't want to alter or customize the fields of this one, so I will select Minilab Mark II. And here what we want to do is create a new template, call it knob scroll, and the first thing you want to do is check my device settings. My keyboard channel is 1, knob acceleration set to slow, and key velocity curve linear, pad velocity curve exponential, octave button blink is on, pad backlight is on. This is my setup. And in controller maps, keeping this one selected, knob scroll, I want to head over to knob 1, and in knob 1 I want it to send control messages, and my option will be relative 1, and the keyboard channel I want to change this channel, because sometimes if you keep things on the same channels, when you MIDI map them in your DAW, then Logic will see those MIDI map channel numbers and it can get confused. Like my scene trigger is on channel 12 for all the pads, and my pad scroll is on channel 14. So usually what I do is I make a small little page so that I can remember where I'm keeping things. So my scene trigger is on 11/12, pad scroll on 13/14, and the live grid knob scroll, the one that I'm making right now, I'm going to put it on 15 and 16. So knobs will be on channel 15 and pads will be on 16. So keeping the first knob selected, I will go to channel 15 and right click on channel number and copy this value to all the other knobs. So now all the other knobs will be on channel 15, but rest of these knobs from 2 to 8 and 10 to 16, they will be on absolute value. Only knob 1 I want to keep on relative 1, and knob 2 also on relative 1. And for knob 1, if we press the button on the knob, because it's a clickable knob, if we press it in combination with shift, which is our system exclusive MIDI message sysx, then it sends an absolute value so that we can control a parameter of a plugin, or say volume or pan. So that works with us. But main setting here on the knob 1 will be relative 1. Knob 1 plus shift will be on absolute, still on channel 15, and knob 1 switch, just this click without pressing the shift, is on keyboard. Let's make it to MIDI channel 15, and same with knob 9. Knob 9 is on channel 15, relative 1. If we press shift and rotate it like this, it's an absolute, so that's fine with us. Knob 9 switch again is on keyboard channel. We want to shift it to 15. And I'll do another video after this MIDI mapping just on MIDI control center, so we'll get a fair idea of all these little settings in some in-depth details. So our knobs are set. 15, 15, just recheck all the channels. And our pads are on color red. I want them to have a different color. Let's put it on yellow, and then I will copy these values by right clicking, copy values to other pads. So pad 1 is on channel 10, so all the pads will be on channel 10, and we want them to be on channel 16. So pad selected, making it MIDI channel 16, right click on this 16 number and copy this value to all the other pads. So now all the pads are yellow and on MIDI channel 16 from 1 to 8, and if we select pad 9 from here, that's also on 16, and now it is sending a note, pad 9. If we actually look at Analog Labs read-only template, which basically gives you another mode, so these are not notes. In that specific channel template, these are switch controls, so I want to utilize all the pads as MIDI keyboard notes, so we'll keep them on notes. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Fantastic. Option is on gate. We want the note to play and stop instead of keep playing it continuously. So if we wanted the note to play continuously, then toggle, but that doesn't make any sense. So this is fine, and our knob scroll has a star next to it, this template, so that means we need to save it. Once you save it, the save button will go gray. And actually I want to rename it. I want to send it to memory 5. So I will start by typing 5 so that I always remember that knob scroll is lying in memory 5 here. Template is saved. Select the device memory that we want to send it to. We could simply drag it also, but dragging can be slightly accidental. So select the sending template and the receiving memory and just say store to. And our Minilab here is now on channel 5. If you press the shift button, you will see that the pad number 5 is lit. That means that's the memory that Minilab is reading right now. So in this memory, if in Logic I open, say, Analog Lab, now these knobs will not work because we are on memory 5. But if I want Analog Lab to work, I will just switch over to Analog Lab and now these knobs will work. But before we start our MIDI mapping, in Logic Preferences, just do some tuning, which is go to Advanced Tools and make sure that all these checkboxes are ticked, especially the control surfaces one, and then head over to MIDI and make sure that Arturia Minilab is present and checked in the inputs. But in control surfaces, make sure that in MIDI controllers, Arturia is unselected or unchecked. And now let mapping begin. So mapping again, we'll be using two commands. One is Command L to learn whatever we are doing in our Logic's interface and touching whatever we want to do and then mapping it to the key. And for some commands we will use Option K, which opens our key commands for Logic. And if you collapse all the settings, you can see that Live Loops Grid has certain commands that you can customize. So here, select any track, and on your computer's keyboard, just go up using the arrow key and then press Command L. And for up, I want to turn left on knob number 1. Now see, the parameter that we have mapped is select next or upper cell or previous track. And it's a key command for Live Loops Grid. And the value here is BE70L07. And because it's on relative, it'll send out this particular 63 and 64 min and max. Mode scaled, which is grayed out, feedback is automatic, that's what we want. But this value we have to change. Now these values have channel number information and the CC control and the other parameter which is controlled by a MIDI controller. Now let's just look in here and go to View and select MIDI console. You can do it from the drop down menu, or simply you can press Command M. And now if we rotate this knob to left, we will have certain values here. You see the in information. So we are on channel 15 and CC is 112, which is undefined. And then we have these hex digits which have everything to do with the knob that we are rotating and the signal that we are sending and how it is communicating with our DAW. So when you rotate it towards right, it gives you a value of BE7041, and towards left 3F in the end. So this 3F is very important for us because this is what we want to change. So this is BE73F. And here in Logic, it has taken BE70L07. We want to specify to Logic that we want to go left on the relative knob. So we will input, keep the space where the value is 3 and capital F and click anywhere. And now when we come out, and if I go to the last track and I go anti-clockwise, our tracks will move up. Tracks or cells. Right now nothing is going down because I haven't mapped that. So let's map that. Down from the computer, key arrow, and then press Command L. And on the same knob, this time don't go left, go right. So the value is BE70LO7 again. This is what Logic is taking, and this is what we need to change. Because when we turn our knob to right, the last value we get is 41. In between we have 40, so 40 is 0. So either we have 43F or we have 4041. So if you're going in the positive direction with the knob, the value will be 41. In negative, 3F. So let's change this value to this value, which is the next track, LO7, to 41, and we are done for the knob number 1. So we can come down on the tracks and go up. We have mapped our track and cell up and down motion. Now let's go select any cell and go left, Command L, use the knob 9, again BE72LO7, and now we know that this digit will be 3F. And let's select any cell and go right from a computer keyboard and press Command L and rotate this knob to right. And again we know that the last value here will be 41. So we have going up and down and coming left and right. If you're in cell, then it continuously keeps going from one direction to the other. It doesn't happen with the tracks. So let's trigger these cells or scenes by pressing Option K and say trigger selected cells or focus scene. Learn new assignment. So now when we are on the scene, or a cell, and then we want to suppose you're in just one cell and you press this button, only the cell will play. What we want to do is pressing this button should trigger the entire scene. So let's go to Option K and look for trigger focus scene. Learn new assignment and press knob 1. And now if we are suppose in this cell and press this knob switch, then only that cell will play, and if we press this, then the entire scene will play. Only the cell, the entire scene. And let's map stop all cells or scenes. Command L, and here we want to press Shift with knob 1 switch. So we have system exclusive MIDI message along with the switch. So if you just press this, it plays the whole scene. If you press it in combination with shift, it stops the entire scene or the cells play. And so these two knobs, we've done everything. Now let's just select any track and move pan and do Command L and move this knob. So the pan is working. Now just select any other track and use the volume knob of that particular track and press Command L and move this knob, and here in the value of min and max, change the max value to 90 so that we never cross the 0 dB threshold. Sorry, I'll switch off the learn mode. Yeah. Now even if you go higher, keep going higher, it will be restricted to 0 dB as if we've put a limiter to it. So yes, so far what we have is going up and down the tracks, going right and left in cells and scenes, and by triggering this knob we play the cell, and by hitting this we play the entire scene. By pressing shift and this switch we stop the entire thing, and if the entire scene is playing, depending on the track that you're on, you can change its pan value and volume. So now this MIDI mapping is done, and let's come to Option Shift K. So here let's create a new zone which will be Arturia Minilab 2 knob scroll, and go to No Zone where we have all our new MIDI mapping assignments. Press Command C and then come here and Command V and go back to No Zone, select all these and press delete. So our mapping is saved here. So this is it, and I hope you find this video helpful and you'll be mapping your Minilab according to this MIDI mapping. It is really simple and gives you the option of playing notes from your keyboard and also browse through your entire session. Now I'll be making more videos and explaining things about MIDI Control Center, and a lot of the subscribers, you've been commenting on features that you want to see how they work. So I'll be trying to make those videos as soon as possible. Okay, have a good one and see you. Take care.